No worries, no worries. No, I appreciate you taking some time to chat with me today.
Sure. I
All
love
right.
your shirt. I almost wore a banana sweater. That would have been a real moment.
Oh, that would have been. I would love to. Do you have strawberries on you or
I have
cherries?
strawberries. So
Strawberries.
we're a fruit salad.
Yes, love it, love it. So, Paula, tell me, how excited are you that season three of Girls 5eva is finally out for all to see?
Oh my God, there are no words. I mean, it was just like a kid in a candy store. We have been having so much fun for the past really almost a month, just hopping to LA and New York and just doing the most fun. That premiere where we got to sing on a
Hmm.
stage. I mean, premieres are fun, but it's usually pretty dry. It's like you all
Yeah.
wander in and get a box of cold popcorn, and everybody sits and laughs and nods and goes, "This is a good show," and they leave. And this really felt like, we all looked at each other. We were like, "Oh, Netflix knows how to do this." Like it just felt exciting and like a moment.
Hmm.
And everything in this show is so life imitates art anyway. So we were laughing so hard because we're Girls 5eva performing, but my, family's there. And I'm like, "How?" And then we got in that limo and we just drove because of by the Plaza Hotel, there's all these regulations. So
Hmm.
they could only really, the traffic was so bad, they could only really just have the limo go about 10 feet. So we get in the limo and we're like, here we are going to make our big. And then we just went, and we said, this is the most Girls 5eva arrival ever.
Love,
Because
love it, love it.
we could only afford 10 feet on the limo, like
Hey,
a one
still arrived in
hundredth of a
style.
mile.
Still arrived in style. I love it. But for those who have not yet watched, what can they expect from this new batch of episodes?
Oh, this season is short and sharp and funny and full of jokes, and it's still got a huge amount of heart like the other two seasons, which is my favorite combination of big laughs with big heart.
Yeah.
And my character is what is my wife writes on the show, and she calls it a tram page. But I go on a tram page in this
Okay.
season because I'm trying to sow my oats on this janky tour we're on. We go on a janky tour at the end of the season two, and we self fund it because everything fell apart and
Mhm.
we screwed a lot of things up. So this season we start out as these underdogs of like, you know what, we're just going to drive across the country in a road trip
Yeah.
and perform along the way and do our own hair and makeup, and we're just going to, self-funded.
Make the most.
um yeah, make the most of it. And we do, and I certainly do, because I'm really a loose goose across the United States.
Love it. So Girls 5eva was originally streaming on Peacock, but it was then picked up by Netflix. So did you have any hesitation or reservations about the transition?
Oh no, we were so thrilled because the Netflix, I mean, the Peacock experience was great because they were new too, pretty much. And so it was an exciting thing to be on a new platform. But I think with shows anymore, because there's so much content, it's
Mhm.
really hard to get people to watch, because there's just so many choices. And then when you're a new platform and you're trying to find out what is your platform's thing, how do
Yeah.
you draw people in? And they were still a little bit in that phase at Peacock, but they loved the show and they were very supportive and enthusiastic. It just, after that 2 years when it felt like, oh no, we're not going to have another season, Netflix swooped in and we were like, this is just from heaven. This is what you dream about as a writer. And I don't write the show, but as a writer or a cast member in a show, that another place that's so much bigger in terms of viewers across the freaking world,
Mhm.
says, oh, we'll take this, let's get people to watch the show. And then they had us do this really fun season, and the promotion has been so fun, and we just have a lot of hope that we can keep doing it. It's a wonderful group of people, and I don't think I've ever been so excited about any kind of extension of it when I know that I'm going to do it more because the
Yeah.
people I would do it with I love so much.
Hmm. So playing Gloria, how meaningful has this character become to you?
Oh, it means so much because I am, in real life, I am 60. I play it slightly younger on the show. Shh, don't tell anyone. Denny, don't tell anyone.
A little secret.
But it means so much to me to play a queer woman that is like in her 50s, and she's the one like actually dating and like having marriages. Like, I don't know, there's just so much content in it that you just never see in shows with women of my age or queer women of my age, especially, because older queer people tend to be like, hey, we're still here. Yeah, I don't want to just see at the Pride Parade, guys. Can you guys shine a light on us too? And so it's been really fun to watch fans, online, or if we're at an event, like come up and they're sort of older gay people that are just like, oh my God, this character is like, I can't even, and some of them are like, I'm a dentist too. It's just like,
it's very good for queer representation.
Yeah, it feels so good that way. And it also feels good in the fact that, we're coming to a place finally in the arts where there's a place at the table for stories, for queer stories that can be about other things. That can be about individual characters. It doesn't have to be this kind of tropey thing about the gay experience, because there is no one gay experience.
No, so, and we're moving away from those tropes too.
Yes. And I love that this is about her trying to be a pop star and her doing it again and finding like meaningful lifelong love again. And like, should I get back with my wife? And it's just stuff that could be anybody. It doesn't have to be, but I just really love that I can still have storylines. Like in this season, there's a storyline where I worry in some of these places we go to perform across the country that are more conservative, and they're not, the most wonderful place for gay people to be. And I'm worried that there's going to be no one there that none of my people, and then for them to show up, it's like a very touching thing. And my wife contributed that element, and because she used to do stand-up, and sometimes she'd be in the middle of the United States doing stand-up, and she'd be like, oh boy, they're not going to like these jokes. Just be like, I don't know. And then she'd look out in the audience and there'd be like 4 gay ladies going, hey, and it's just like, we're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Yes. And although you don't write for the show, you are well known for being a writer at Saturday Night Live for several years. Do you ever have like an itch to put your input into writing on Girls5eva?
The most incredible thing about the show is that when they hand us those scripts, they are so it's like, Meredith Scardino, Robert Carlock, Tina Fey, just they just pour, and a great staff of writers. They pour over stuff so intricately, because I used to write for 30 Rock, and it's like the amount of time that is put in analyzing and figuring out the sort of science of the jokes, the heart of the jokes, and the characters and the plot. It's so expertly done that when I get the scripts, I'm like, oh my God, I can just act. Like I can just act. It's so fun. They do my hair, makeup, and it's so fun. Acting is like being a child, and it, no worries, you just get up there, you learn your lines, and you have fun.
Yes,
and exactly. So I love it. I do love throwing things in, because I always have that little ham in me. So, but I always make sure with the writers and with Meredith, like I'll say, can I do one where at the end I do this, or I flip them a bird or whatever it is. It's like
a very collaborative process.
Yeah, just and they're very open and generous about giving you, if you want to try something else, totally. But time is always usually of the essence when you're shooting anyway. Any single camera show I've ever done is like, we gotta go. Yep. So you don't have a lot of time of like, could I try it in an accent? It's like, no, you're not going to try it in an accent. We got it.
Got it. Well, who are some of your all-time favorite girl groups?
Well, girl groups, because I'm a little older, I was really the singer-songwriter obsessed, like, Tracy Chapman and Joni Mitchell and all the and all the, the gay like icons that I grew up going to every concert of, like Indigo Girls and Melissa Etheridge and all those. But girl group wise, I really loved TLC. That was always my favorite. They just felt so much more authentic and not assembled like some of the groups. And also, because of my age, I was at SNL by the time a lot of those groups were the hits. And so they
Okay.
were music guests. And Insync came on, and I wrote a sketch called 6 Degrees Celsius, sometimes on SNL with Jimmy Fallon and Chris Kattan and Tracy Morgan and Horatio and Will Ferrell. And it was a boy group, and they were really dumb. They were just dummies. And Insync was the music guest, and they were like, "Oh, you should put them in the girls. I mean, in the 6 Degrees Celsius sketch." So I had them come on as another boy group, and I wrote a song for them. They dressed as McDonald's employees, and I wrote a song called "Hold the Pickle," and they came in with harmonies, choreography. I was just looking at them, going, "These young fellows are so talented." I mean, they came in. But all those boy and girl groups really were, like, when I first started SNL in the 90s, they were the hits.
The hits, yeah, yeah. So if we do get a season 4 of Girls5eva, what direction would you like to see Gloria's arc go in?
Oh, I would love to see Gloria. We've talked about this and we laugh about it because we never want them to really be too successful because the comedy is in them failing. But I would love there to be some little flash of success where she has a little more money than she ever had. I think it would be really funny that what kind of vehicle Gloria would have as her dream car, or something that she gets that's just a real flex. Makes me laugh. And also just, I think, to see if she isn't with Caroline, if she is with Caroline, we've never really delved into like who Caroline is completely because she's kind of just serving the story. So you see her in little bits, but like we've laughed about, like, what if I get back with Caroline and she's just a real nightmare, like, and I have to like codependently deal with somebody because Gloria is just funny when she's got to deal with, I forgot, I watched the first episode of the series recently, and because I've been going back and watching the first and second season. And I forgot that in that very first thing where Wiki doesn't show up at the Tonight Show, I'm just like, my dad is living with me and I've got custody of spaniels. I can't take anything else on. I'm like, I forgot about that whole speech because I'm a very codependent person that takes on a lot in family and everything. And I love watching her kind of have a blowout where she's like, I can't, there's no room. There's no more room.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. All right, Paula. Well, how can one stay up to date with you?
To stay up to date with me?
Yes.
In meaning what?
Are you on social media?
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking. Yes, I'm on Instagram, Pell Pics on Instagram, Pix. And I'm on, that's kind of where I'm at right now, but I'm kind of re-entering. I left Twitter. I loved Twitter for many years, and then it became not Twitter. So I do not care to be on there anymore, but I love going on Instagram, and I'm actually having my younger wife teach me a few things so I can actually function on there instead of just putting a picture of my dog, blurry picture of my dog.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, before I leave you, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
Oh, well, I'm doing a movie with Netflix. With my wife and I are writing, Janine Brito, we're writing a movie for Netflix with Kim Kardashian and a bunch of comedy ladies. And that's been a blast so far. We've got one script, one draft of it out, and it's been a blast. So I'm just really enjoying hanging in the Netflix in the Netflix dorm.
Yes,
I was trying to think of some building. It's not a dorm. Into those buildings, they're beautiful.
Yes, love it. Awesome. All right, Paula, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks, Denny. Have a good one.
Bye.